2026. Kind of dark out there this morning. Expect some rain to continue with us. High today, 78, it looks like. Thursday, partly cloudy, a high of 71. And Friday, partly cloudy, a high of 72. And a little bit of rain chance in there as well. We're not done with the rain for today. However, it has kind of dissipated here in the Birmingham metro area a little bit. But we may see some more rain a little bit later on tonight. Welcome into the Dixon and Vining Show. Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Now on YouTube. Check us out at Real Talk 995 TV. And download our free app. Yes, free. There's very few things in life are free, but this is a pretty cool app. It's our app, and you can listen to us there, watch us on YouTube, check out the podcast, call or text us from that number as well that's right there on the app. And you're going to need that probably soon.
Yeah.
Because we're getting close to giving away some tickets to our Jawbone Jam.
Jawbone Jam!
And you're going to need the app.
Jawbone Jam!
Get the app. We'll
coming up on
explain
the
more.
15th. The 15th, that's very close. That's 2 weeks from Friday.
Can you believe that?
I cannot. 2 weeks from Friday. Very excited about it. It's going to be great.
I'm very excited about it.
Oh,
as
man.
well.
We got cattle. We got stone horses. We have got Brother Kane. We have got the Knowles Group bringing that to us. We're going to have some swag there. Thanks to Aqua Systems and Blakely's Bouquet. We appreciate everybody who gets involved in this. Iron City is the place. You can buy tickets, ironcitybhem.com, ironcitybhem.com, or Ticketmaster.
Get some tickets. Definitely get tickets.
We'll be giving some away as well.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to pack that place. It's going to be so much fun. Our 10th anniversary. 10
years, folks.
10 years of doing this. And it only feels like 14 or 15. So.
And I'm kind of, I'm really excited. So many times you guys are the entertainment. I mean, you know, it's your band, Richard, and sometimes Leland plays, and we've had John Bird perform and that sort of thing. This year this will be a great opportunity for you all to kind of mingle with everybody. Now, Leland's going to broadcast his show there.
Yep.
That Friday the 15th from 2 until 6. And then a little later on, doors will open up and everybody can come see just, incredible bands. All of these guys are going to be really great. And the fact that, we're not the entertainment this year, we're going to be able to, spend some time with our listeners.
We are going to love
while we're listening to this great music.
every minute of it.
Yep.
We'll be up on stage introducing the acts, but that's about it. That's going to be it. That and throwing out some swag.
Yep. And
Good stuff,
we'll
man.
have some of that. We're working on right now. They're being printed a 10-year anniversary Jawbone Jam T-shirt, and they're pretty cool looking.
Sweet.
Yeah, so get ready for that.
709 Contrite Brothers, where you go for Mom's Day. If you want to get mom or your significant other, she's a mother too, some flowers, you can do that at Contrite Brothers gift baskets and flowers, contritebrothers.com. Make it easy, contritebrothers.com. They've got right there on the front page, it's like, hey, click here, gifts for Mother's Day. Or you can dig deeper, go other places, wherever you want to go. It's a big old website. They got a lot of baskets. They got a lot of gifts. They got something Mom is going to love. Maybe she would prefer live plants. They sell those. Maybe she would prefer just, a bouquet of flowers, a spray of flowers. Maybe she wants a spray of flowers and a basket. Maybe throw a bottle of wine in there. Mom could use a bottle of wine. She puts up with you. How about that? ContriBrothers.com. They're fast, they're easy, the price is right, the delivery is fantastic, and I've never given one of these without getting a raving review and a thank you call. ContriBrothers.com. Go check them out online, ContriBrothers.com, this year for Mother's Day. Do it.
And now, it's Dixon and Vining's top 3 things you need to know.
Well, things are not looking so good for Iran, and they're not making any real effort to come to an agreement about not having nuclear capabilities. The blockade that we currently have in place in the Strait of Hormuz is working very well, cutting off Iran from much-needed supplies and their ability to move their oil out. So economically, things get worse by the day for them. Iran currently has triple-digit inflation. Their currency is worthless. And we may end up with more military strikes in the very near future to finish things off. And again, Donald Trump has said, we're not in a huge hurry. We're trying to let diplomacy work its way out. It doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere because Iran doesn't look like they care at all about talking about nuclear capabilities. They just want to talk about that later. They're like, open up the strait and, stop the blockades and we'll talk about getting rid of our nukes down the road. Sure. No, what we're doing is working well, but there has to be an end to this at some point where you just say, okay, so you're really not going to come to the table. We've tried this over and over again. Now we're militarily going to strike you again, and we're going to take everything out.
Yeah. We'll start. We can take out some of the bridges and some of the power plants, and then we can pause and go, how about now?
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk now?
Mm-hmm. Uncle
And then-
Yet?
No? Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Back to the bombing. Back and forth until such time as they finally decide maybe it is time to talk. That group of people that are trying to run a country, those are the ones that we need to try to keep alive because they at least have a little bit of common sense about them that, we can't pay anybody. We have no money. We used to sell 2 million barrels of oil a day. We're moving less than 500,000 right now. We got no money. We're not getting paid ourselves. The country's about to starve to death if we don't get some money in here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point at which you go, okay, well, then talk. Come on, what are you doing? All right, we'll see
They're
what
digging
happens.
in is what they're doing.
I guess so.
Digging in. All right, if you travel up and down I-65 near Lakeshore, you've probably noticed some construction work going on and the signs that tell you to slow down to 50 miles an hour or so. It's all about the Diverging Diamond Interchange project that's going on there. Crews started the work back in February and hope to have the entire project, and it's a bigger project than just that one ramp, completed by the end of next year. There will be a new ramp moving traffic. If you're heading east on Lakeshore and you're right there in front of Sam's and you want to go 65 south, well, you'll stay in the right-hand lane eventually and get off there.
Nice.
Which it seems a lot more natural than the way you currently do it.
Exactly.
The new ramp should be open in the spring. But again, the entire project is going to take a little longer than that because then they're going to do away with the old left-hand turn and then, coming around on 65 southbound.
Right.
And they've got a couple of other things that they're working on as well. But a lot of moving of dirt, a lot of putting down, roadway that's going to be a part of this ramp and everything. So if you see that, you'll kind of know what it is. And I have noticed this, Richard. State troopers have really stepped it up. The last 2 days I've headed home, I've noticed they're pulling cars over on the other side of the road that I talked about where there's not construction.
Right.
But because the speed limit drops all the way down to 50, they're nailing people left and right.
All right, be careful out there.
Yeah.
Be careful.
And the other, big news and local news it is, and I know a lot of people are concerned and going, hey, what's going on? Why are all these restaurants closing? At least 12 restaurants, this isn't mainly in Alabama, but there's some in Georgia too, have closed their doors within the past couple of weeks. They're apparently having problems paying for the food and leases and things like that. Specifically, if you've been out Highway 280 at Donovan Valley Road, where they have that brand new location where there's the Hero Diner and Little Donkey is out there, Rodney Scott's Barbecue, and a few other neat things that are out there. It's everything's closed up right now, and I feel probably more for those employees who are coming to work and they're like, what do you mean the doors are shut? What do you mean I don't have a job? What do you mean I don't have any hours today?
They closed them up on the 27th, and when they locked the doors that night, they said, oh, by the way, to the employees, they said, by the way, we're not reopening. What?
Yeah. $400,000 they owe.
Yeah. I thought I had a job here. No, you don't.
I
wouldn't hold out a lot of hope for that last paycheck either. If they still owe $400,000 for the meat, my guess is they didn't put aside money for employees. That's a problem.
It is a problem.
I don't know how you find yourself that far down in a hole like that.
Well, it's a slow roll, and you think, oh, well, I can fix this,
Yeah.
and then apparently, you can't. The company has brought in a consultant to try to help with this, but I don't know, $400,000 in the hole. I bet it's a lot deeper than that with every day that goes by. So if you can't stop the bleeding, I don't know what you do.
Undercapitalization. It happens.
It does.
Happens. 7:15 with Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5 and Talk995.com. Anthony and Company Jewelers is ready to build something from scratch for Mom if that's what you want. You still have about a week and a couple of days here. You need to talk to them about what it is Mom would like. If you're talking about a pendant or a bracelet, a necklace of some kind, maybe a ring. A Mother's Day ring would be lovely. Moms love that. You get all the birthstones in there. For the 3 or 4 kids that she's had. Pick the precious metal that you want to use. They've got a bunch of different designs and styles that they can work with. Or maybe you take an older piece that she has that she never wears anymore because it's out of date, and you get them to update it for you. They can do that. Or pick something from their huge selection. They've got a huge selection at great low prices. Prices so low, they cannot afford to have a sale. Anthony and Company Jewelers, 2080 Valleydale Road, next to Ragtime Cafe, 2080 Valleydale Road, next to Ragtime Cafe. Online at anthonycojewelers.com. 987-2224 on the telephone. Yeah, baby. It seats about 20, so hurry up and bring your jukebox money. I believe that was Phil Carter in the traffic center. Was it not? No?
Similar.
Kind of sounds
Yeah, it's close. Very upbeat.
722, Dixon Dividing, Talk 995, talk995.com. Thanks for hanging out with us today. It is going to be a bit wet. Most of the rain seems to be out of the Homewood area right now.
Yeah, right now, but we're not done with it yet.
Ain't done.
No.
Not finished.
I'll tell you what, the phone is going to ring off the hook. It happens every time. And we're talking close to 3 inches of rain when this is all said and done. If the 3 inches of rain, even just a little bit of that, ends up somewhere near your home, and I'm not talking like, out where your gutters are or away from your home. I'm talking about like in your home, like in the basement or crawl space. You're like, okay, here we go. Listen, David Feven and the guys at Be Dry can assist you so you don't have to worry about this problem ever again, so that when you hear that rain is coming, that you don't panic and go, boy, here we go again, another round of a problem with my home. So resolve it today. Call David Feven and the guys at Be Dry at 942-1976. I don't give you the area code because they're here in the Birmingham area, so it's 205. But they'll come out and give you a free quote. That is not a problem at all. And I think it's an important part of this whole process because you want to find out exactly what's going on with your home, and they can explain that. If there's water coming into the crawl space, how to get that water out of there and then encapsulate those areas. The basement is another place that they see where some type of water reaches your basement, and then you've got some mildew. You got mildew issues. Cracking in the foundation, too. Love the fact that Be Dry offers the strongest lifetime warranty in the business and a whole bunch of budget-friendly solutions you can talk to them about when they come out to give you the free quote. So don't waste any more time. Call them today and resolve this issue if you're dealing with it at your home. 205-942-1976 or online, BeDryAlabama.com.
723 with Dixon and Vining. I just read this lengthy piece in the New York Post, so you don't have to. It has to do with an Anthony Fauci advisor who has been indicted by the Department of Justice. For what, you ask? Concealing the disposal of COVID records. What does that mean exactly? 78-year-old David Morins has been charged with 1 count of conspiracy against the United States, 2 counts of destruction, alteration, and falsification of records in federal investigations, and 2 counts of concealment, removal, or mutilation of records.
Ooh, sounds all serious.
What this has to do with is, you might remember early on when COVID first got started, they were really, really intent on burying the lab leak theory.
Mm-hmm. They didn't want anybody to even know about that.
No, it was a bowl of Campbell's cream of bat soup. Don't you know that? That's what it was. Everybody knows that the coronavirus comes from bats, and just the fact that it happened to come from the same city where the coronavirus lab was.
There's no connection there, Richard. Don't look here.
Let's not
look at
be
the wet market.
silly.
Don't come over here to the lab.
Right.
Jeez.
It was so bad that an email was sent out saying, hey, guys, this was, everybody understands, this wasn't a lab leak. We're not talking about the lab leak theory. This was the wet, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This guy, Morins, apparently, was ordered kind of under the table. It was almost in a couple of different ways. They were almost alluding to it during emails. Where a guy's it was there are 2 people between Fauci and Morins, okay, and they seem to share like a dual role. So it's not like there's a boss and a boss's boss. It was 2 guys who kind of work directly under Fauci, and then Morins, who's directly under them, and one of them sent him a couple of bottles of very nice red wine and said, this is for services rendered. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, I guess I'm going to have to figure out how to earn that. And then the response was, well, the next phase will involve like a Michelin star restaurant meal.
Nice.
So they're alluding to, we need you to go in there and take these papers out. These are the papers that had to do with the lab leak. Anything that would point to a lab leak. Why would Dr. Fauci be so interested in covering that up? Because he's the one that was funding the lab, the gain of function research.
Mm-hmm. The money was coming from him.
The NIH money was coming from him, was all going into that lab in Wuhan, where we were basically trying to figure out how could we weaponize this coronavirus strain and make it painful to the enemy. And then somebody carried it out on like a pants leg or something. There are some who say that they thought it was leaked intentionally. I don't believe that. But you're allowed to believe that if you want to, obviously.
The timing of it is a little suspicious.
Sure.
It really is.
But you have to remember it worked its way across Europe as well, and really did a number on like Italy, where there's a lot of older people and families tend to live together and on top of each other in cities and so on and so forth. Their death rate was
So
horrific.
is the big deal now that David Morans is they want him to squeal.
They do.
Want him to
Yeah.
sing like a bird.
Yes.
And then maybe get the person at the top,
They
which
wanna
would be Anthony Fauci.
Squeeze him. First, they want to. The other two, by the way, they say those two are about to be indicted as well. They don't say it's them, but they say there are more indictments coming, and we think that we can get these three guys. If one of them flips on the other two, then he'll get a softer deal. But if none of them flip, we still have enough to take these three guys down. Now, will any of them squeal on Fauci? I don't know. I mean, Fauci is one of the more reprehensible characters in American politics at this point, because if you know what he did, you know that he was responsible for funding the COVID research that was taking place at that lab. You know that he did his absolute best to cover up the fact that he funded that, and that it almost certainly was a lab leak that spread this stuff across both Europe and the United States. He also did his best to bury any sort of treatment concepts. We've talked about ivermectin as something that works as a prophylactic against COVID. He made sure that nobody believed that. Hydroxychloroquine, he made sure everybody was like, no, that's horrible. Don't even touch that. That's the worst. And we find out later, of course, that it worked very well.
It could have saved a lot of lives.
Could have saved a lot of lives instead. We followed exactly the wrong protocol. When people have this stuff and it's a lung issue, lie them down in bed and put them on a ventilator.
Worst
so
thing
they're
you could have done.
Exactly. Killed a ton of people that way. It was horrible. Very sad, including a couple of friends of mine who would and should still be alive today had we not followed the protocols that we had been given. But don't forget about the smaller stuff too. No, you don't need to wear a mask. Masks aren't going to help you. Nobody needs a mask. It's not a big thing.
Oh, now
Everyone
you
needs to
need
wear
3
two masks.
masks,
Yes.
right?
What are you doing? How come you only have 2 masks on?
Get a third one
Put that
on.
third mask on. Everyone, make sure that you're separated by 6 feet. We should close the schools. You're like, what are you talking about? Close the schools.
What a horrible thing that we went through.
Trying to force young children who do not need it to get a vaccine that was doing more damage to them than COVID itself was doing to them.
They would have done the majority.
Absolutely.
I mean, 99 point, whatever you want to call it,
Yep.
would have done absolutely fine without any vaccine.
Many of them who got the vaccine are now suffering from myocarditis, and they will for the rest of their lives. That is not something that is going to go away. They're going to have heart problems forever as a result of taking that vaccine at a very young age. Anthony Fauci was the guy who was pushing that. The whole thing just is distressing. He says, well, hold on a second. Trump created the vaccine. I know. I agree. That's a problem as well. He didn't know what he was creating. He didn't realize he was creating Frankenstein's monster, but he was still at the heart of it, and then he still urged everybody to get it. Should have done a little more research on that before we started jabbing people, don't you think?
Probably. There was that rush.
Live and learn. Live and learn. And shame on us if we live and don't learn. 7:30 with Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5, talk995.com. We have got a Democratic candidate for Senate.
Yes,
stepping
Senate.
into the studio here in mere moments. Dakari Lariat will be joining us, so don't go away. It's Dixon and Vining on Talk 99.5. 736, Dixon and Vining. Talk 99.5, talk995.com, the babies. It's amazing they were able to hold those full-size instruments, those babies.
Those,
wasn't it?
yeah, those little
Right.
teeny
And the
tiny
keyboard,
hands.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Truly amazing. They had the cutest little noses, though. It is Dixon and Vining. Thank you for tuning in on this wet Wednesday. More rain coming tonight. You just heard it from our man Evan Chick-Vera. We got a live real estate auction coming your way May the 7th. May the 7th. That is a week from tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, I think that's right. A week from tomorrow. Where is it, you ask? 4400 Pinson Valley Parkway in unincorporated Jefferson County. It is a beautiful, beautiful place. I drive by this place on a regular basis. 2.3 acres. It's got a lovely office building on it. It was a former bank, so there's a vault in there. There's extra land for a future build-out. If, for instance, you want to do, I don't know, build some exterior storage on that piece of property and then use the inside for more storage, that would be a great business you could open up there. You could do retail. You could do a package store. You could do an office. You could do a gas or convenience store. Anything and everything that strikes your fancy. A lot of traffic at this particular place going by on a regular basis. So at 1 p.m., set aside some time to make it to this live real estate auction. You better go to gtauctions.com to get a heads up on exactly how it works. gtauctions.com. They'll give you terms, and you can find out about bidder qualifications and all the stuff that comes into play there. And if you ever think about maybe selling a piece of property, then you can also look at gtauctions.com to find out the best way to do it, get the best market value for your money, figure out how you can have a set date of sale, a set date of close, and how the buyer pays all the closing costs. Good stuff all around. Live real estate auction this coming, not a week from tomorrow, May 7th at 1 p.m., 4400 Pinson Valley Parkway. Find out more at gtauctions.com. Now, joining us live and in studio, Dakari Lariat. He is running for U.S. Senate. He wants to get the Democrat nomination. Looking at your website here. First off, well designed, beautiful, well done.
Nice
Back
job
up
with
and
it.
running. You know, we got hacked over the weekend.
Oh, no.
Second time I've been on the phone with the FBI. This is
Oh,
real.
no.
This is real.
Well, that would explain why the first thing they had to do was verify it was human.
Yes.
And it took longer than usual because they're like, we're not detecting a soul. I'm like, I know. That's me.
Somebody doesn't want us in the race, and I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, all right. You're ticking off all the right people, right? Okay, so you're the son of an Army veteran, traveled all over the place like a lot of Army brats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Longtime community volunteer, successful entrepreneur. What have you entrepreneured?
Gosh, so many different things, but my most prevalent business is in the pet space. So pet grooming products. I
Is that
started
right?
out of my garage.
Is that right?
And I had a little puppy that was afraid of thunderstorms. So I started making aromatherapy pet grooming products, shampoos, sprays, candles
Huh.
to calm the pets. And now my products are sold all over the world.
Yeah, we were just talking about the storms and his dog under
Yeah.
the bed, and I
Yep.
was like, well, maybe you need to hook up with him on the dog
Check out my
products there.
website. Yeah.
I need to go take a look at his website.
Yeah.
I got a dog that's allergic to everything, you know?
Oh, no.
Yeah, yeah.
We're hypoallergenic
Excellent.
because of those allergies. So,
Should
Yep.
definitely look into that. All right, enough about the dogs. Let's talk about your run for the Senate. What exactly, first off, what makes you different from the other major Democrat candidates? Well, I guess any of the Democratic candidates that are running. Most notably,
Three others.
Doug Jones, who is, the guy who I think I'm sorry, he's running for governor, isn't he? 'Cause I
Yes,
keep
yeah.
forgetting that. He's
Yes.
running for
His
governor.
I know
seat.
we've been doing Senate and governor, and
Right.
it does get a little confusing.
I can't keep
Yeah,
the two straight,
U.S. Senate
to
seat
be honest
Democrat.
with you. But yeah, what sets you apart from the other candidates, and why do you think you're better than they are?
We're all relatively new to running for office. So that's kind of the level set, but I still bring 20 years of experience in public service. So I like to say I work from the outside in advocacy, addressing homelessness issues, addressing drug addiction as a leader at the National Harm Reduction Coalition, addressing food security. I drive for Meals on Wheels here in Alabama and across the county, and also volunteer at Humane Society right over in Homewood.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Yeah, this is interesting too. So it's you. We talk with Kyle Sweetser.
Yeah.
He's another one. Everett West, not yet. Mark Wheeler is the other one, and that is the thing. I mean, you obviously want to win this primary. What sets you apart from these other three? And again, you've listed a couple of those things, but specifically when you talk about being in the U.S. Senate, what do you bring to the state of Alabama? What are some of your goals if you were to win?
Yeah, in addition to my 20 years of serving the community, so understanding its needs intimately, it's 20 years of working in corporate America at the highest levels, solving problems, bringing people together collaboratively, and not being partisan, frankly. I never walked into a corporate boardroom and asked people if there's a D or an R behind their name. It's really about ultimately satisfying the needs of the consumer, the customer, getting the product out the door. And that's what I've done for 20 years in supply chain.
Well, here's the problem. And it's not that I don't believe you, because I don't know you. So, I don't believe anybody. We hear this all the time from a Democratic lobby. And I mean, we watch races all over the country. I'm not just talking about in Alabama. We watch races all over the country. You see these Democrats, I'm my own man. I'll stand up and I'll do what's right. And I love my state and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. They get there, and 10 minutes later, they're walking in lockstep with Chuck Schumer on everything, literally everything down the line. Yeah. And you go, 5 minutes ago, you were an independent guy. What the hell happened here? Right now, the only guy I can point to in the Senate who fits that bill is John Fetterman. And he's ticking everybody off. Not me personally, but he's ticking everybody off. Are you willing to make your own party mad by going against them if that's what needs to be done?
Well, Richard, I'll tell you right now, I'm fighting an entire state. In fact, a governor, Governor Gretchen Whitmer. So one of the primary reasons I got into this cycle was because of my wrongful arrest in the state of Michigan. And I was tortured by the Michigan State Police. My driver's license was confiscated. We later found by body cam that the state police were trying to plant drugs in my vehicle. I had 3 meetings with Governor Whitmer's office. She did absolutely nothing. And I stood in front of the Detroit Public Safety Headquarters and called her out, as well as the head of the state police. So I have flown close to the sun many times before, and I'll continue to do so.
What did they claim you were being arrested for, aside from the planting of the drugs in it?
Allegedly for making a rolling stop. And that translated into losing my driver's license, being jailed, and spending tens of thousands of dollars in legal expenses.
And they say we're racist in Alabama.
Wow.
Figure that one out, huh? Wow.
That's pretty serious.
Pretty
Where are
wild.
you with it now?
Well, I just wrote a book about it. It's called Don't Flush. It is a best-selling book. And unfortunately, due to our qualified immunity laws, my case was dismissed. And the police continue to harass people. I continue to be contacted by other victims of these officers. And that is why I have started to author my own legislation called the Motorist Bill of Rights, which keeps all of us safe in our interactions with law enforcement. And I talk about that in my book. I also have some draft legislation on my website, and I've spoken at the Alabama State House about this.
Oh, you gave us a copy of this book, by the way, which we very much appreciate. I don't think of it as a bribe, do you?
No, absolutely
Okay, good.
not. No.
If you were to sign it, then we'd...
Then it might be a bribe.
Well, wait until May 19th when
Okay,
I win this election.
all righty.
The
And
value's
then you
going
can
to
come
jump.
back and you can sign
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
Then we'll be all about it. Where can we buy this if someone wanted to buy a copy of it?
It's available at bookstores throughout the state of Alabama. It's available on Amazon. And if you are an audio person, I imagine your listeners are, you can check out Apple as well as Amazon and get the audio versions of the book.
So did you publish it through Amazon? Is that where you did it?
Self-published,
Yeah,
yes.
That's great.
Yep, self-published. I wanted to get it out quickly and really share my story, and we may go back and edit it and expand the book and publish with the traditional publisher in the future.
When you redo the audiobook, I want you to keep somebody with a great voice in mind.
He's expensive.
I mean Valerie.
No,
I was talking about Valerie.
No, Richard.
Valerie's the
But he's
person.
very, very
I
expensive.
think that would be a
I'm
lot
much
of fun.
cheaper.
Well,
Yeah.
I tried to do it myself, and I was like, this is a lot of work.
It
So
really is.
I actually did hire somebody with a great voice to do it.
Oh, well.
Yeah. See, you missed it,
Fine.
Richard.
Be
You missed
that
out.
way.
You should have met him before he wrote the book.
Given the fact that you would be one of 100 senators, there's going to be a time or two when you're tilting at windmills, I'm sure. Are you good at persuading other people? Are you good at getting other people on your side?
Yeah, I think that's what I've been doing for the last year is selling my candidacy. And in the beginning, party leadership were like, it's never going to happen. And now I think it's very clear I'm the front runner in this race based upon all the media attention. I've been featured in Essence Magazine, USA Today. The excitement is building. And when people get to know me, they love me.
I have a subscription to Essence. I haven't seen that. I'm going to take a look. I'll see.
Really?
Yes.
You're an Essence
I
reader.
have Essence and Jet.
Really?
No, of course not.
He's pulling your leg.
But
I've
Valerie,
also been in
that.
very
Yeah.
conservative journals as
Okay.
well.
Very
So,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, American Spectator. So
excellent.
from every end of the spectrum, folks are getting excited about this race.
very good. Can you hold on for a second? We'd like to keep you here if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll be right back at 7:46 with Dixon and Vining and Takari Lariat, a Democrat who would like the nomination to run for Senate this year. 7:51. Talk 99.5, talk995.com. It's Dixon and Vining on this Wednesday. That it looks like the rain. I think the rain is out right now officially for Homewood. I think it's going to be coming back this morning.
A little sunshine.
Got some
We
sunshine.
Got sun.
I forgot what that looked like.
I did
for a
too.
minute there.
That's beautiful out there.
But the rain will be coming back tonight, somewhere around 11, 10 or 11 in our neck of the woods, and will stick around right on through the early morning hours, or so they tell us. Not that we can't use it, man. We went through a long dry spell, so pretty happy to have it. We're chatting with Dakari Lariat. He is a Democrat who would like the Democratic nomination for Senate in the state of Alabama. I'm looking at his website, Dakari for Alabama. First off, he's got a picture of himself with his dog, which already makes me a fan.
That's a winner right here.
Right off the bat, I'm already a fan.
That's a campaign manager.
That's smart. You got a good one.
It's a poodle, right?
Yeah, miniature poodle.
Miniature poodle. I had one that looked just like that. His name was Pepper.
Pepper, okay.
One of the most annoying, yappy dogs
But
ever.
yours probably isn't annoying.
Still.
Oh, I just lost him 3 months ago.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Have you looked
Here
for him?
we
Did you
are.
put anything in the lost pet?
No,
you
no.
mean
no longer with
Richard.
us.
Sorry. Family pet cremation. A friend
It's
when you
a
lose a friend.
beautiful
We'll
dog,
throw
and I'm
that out
sorry
there.
for the loss.
Very
Yes,
sad.
thank you so much.
Then you go on to talk about healthcare, and I find this interesting because you say you think it's time that we work together to pursue common sense solutions that put people and patients over politics and insurance companies. I think that statement alone is worth the price of admission, because right now, what we have going on in the House and the Senate, as you're no doubt aware, is you got one side that says, no, we should be using a lot of federal money to lower people's insurance rates. In other words, you want to take my tax dollars and use it to lower that guy's insurance rates. And another side that says, no, we need to rearrange this entire process because the Affordable Care Act was supposed to make things affordable. And if we're having to use a lot of federal money, that's not affordable. And by the way, all that money is going to insurance companies, as you point out here, which I find very frustrating. What is it going to take to get everybody on the same page and get them excited about revamping the system? We clearly need to rethink the thing from the bottom up, don't we?
Oh, for sure. And actually, I spent part of my career in healthcare, and this onion of healthcare and insurance is just very, very complicated. We've got to peel back so many layers. I do strongly believe that we need to provide those subsidies as a stopgap, but that's not the long-term solution. It's unacceptable. ACA was never affordable, frankly. Folks were still paying $1,000 a month for premiums, but then we've got to offer a public option. And I think ultimately people are going to fall in love with it, and it will force insurance companies to be more competitive and do right by the customer.
I wanted to ask you too, this has been discussed a lot with a couple of the past elections and questions and things that have happened in past elections. The SAVE Act. What are your thoughts on, everybody providing a valid ID to be able to vote? Because one side will say, some on one side will say, that's not necessary, we don't need to do that. And on the other side, it's, we're trying to preserve elections and the integrity of these elections, and you would think that both sides would want that. Every American would want that. Where do you stand on that?
I think the SAVE Act is a solution in search of a problem. We have virtually no election fraud in this country. I mean, you saw the turnout in August for our municipals. We can barely get the legitimate folks to turn out. So there aren't that many people trying to commit election fraud. I think it was something like 20% in Birmingham. Now, I have no issue with presenting an ID. We've got to make IDs affordable and accessible to everyone. They are not currently. But I am concerned about the SAVE Act in particular because it disenfranchises women who've changed their name when they get married. It disenfranchises Black folks and minorities who may not have access to an ID. That's just a reality for some people. So I just want to make sure that we're not eliminating people's right to vote.
So you're saying Black people can't get IDs? Is that what you're suggesting? Why can't
not at
Black
all.
people get IDs?
No, it's not that they can't get IDs, but many people just simply don't have IDs. They're unbanked. They just don't have the same economic advantages as the general population. That's a reality.
I find that difficult to believe.
But that's what the data shows.
I find it difficult to believe because when we started voter ID in Alabama, the AL.com did their best to find people who didn't have IDs to vote, and they found two of them, one of whom had had his wallet stolen, and the other one of whom was 102 years old and had never had an ID because she'd never needed one. They both got to cast provisional ballots, and in the long run, both of those provisional ballots were accepted. Two people in the entire state, Dakari. I mean, I just find it hard to believe that people can't get IDs. I think
Yeah.
they can. I think we're using that as an excuse. And when you say, well, there's virtually no voter fraud, I think a lot of it is because people aren't looking for it. When we do find voter fraud, and we found 300,000 ballots in Fulton County in Georgia that were fraudulently accepted that didn't have matching signatures, that sounds like a lot of voter fraud to me. I mean,
Well-
I'm a little worried about that.
I absolutely have no issue with people presenting their identification, but we've got to make sure that those IDs are accessible
I agree.
for everyone.
I agree.
And there is, frankly, a financial burden, and that can become a poll tax. That's my concern.
It was our previous Secretary of State.
John Merrill.
John Merrill used to
Gave
hand
out
out his
his,
cell phone number. We'll come to you. Now, it doesn't get much easier than that. We'll actually come to you free of charge. We're going to create an ID for you. I love that idea. There's no reason we couldn't do that nationwide. Everybody should be doing that, in my opinion. All right, what else are your really big issues? What are the ones that are overwhelming for you that you're saying? I mean, you're running A, because you were falsely arrested and they attempted to prosecute you. B, because you love pets, and I think that's important. but aside from healthcare, what's a big one?
Well, I actually started the campaign by saying we need leaders who listen. So before I even came up with my policy positions, I did a poll and I traveled the state. So the 3 pillars are actually education. That's the first pillar. We've got to invest in our young people and create the next generation of leaders in the state, make pre-K affordable, make college affordable. I was able to go to Alabama on a free ride.
Roll Tide.
Yes, Roll Tide. I want everyone to have that opportunity to come out with opportunity, not debt. We talked about healthcare, and then finally the economic opportunity. Too many people are being left behind in the state. When I get up to areas like Huntsville, folks feel like they can't even live in their communities anymore because there's this influx of industry, which is great. It's very exciting, but folks feel like they're not getting those jobs. The companies are bringing their own employees in. So how do we ensure that we're matching the talent we have in state with the job opportunities? When we give incentives, our tax dollars, let's make sure that we are creating a win-win scenario, and then we're also investing in infrastructure so people can get to work. They're not stuck in traffic.
Have anybody who endorsed you? Anybody big? Anybody?
Yeah. So we've been rolling out endorsements each week. We were endorsed by Patricia Todd, former State House Representative, Antoine Womack, Birmingham Board of Education, and we are rolling out some really exciting endorsements in the education space and healthcare space this week. We also have rolled out some community leaders like Bernard Simelton, former head of the NAACP, so really exciting, and you can view those on our website.
Most excellent. Speaking of your website, what is it so people can go there and donate
Check
and
it
whatever?
out.
Yes, DakariLariat.com. Click Get Involved to participate in this campaign, whether that's volunteering or hosting an event at your home. And then, of course, you can click that big donate button. We'd love that as well.
Yeah, LARRIETT.
Yep.
DakariLariat.com.
Yep. So
Or
you have
just
the
Google
correct
me.
spelling.
I'm the only one.
Don't forget to add us to your media page. Now that
Yes, we will do
you
that.
throw this
We
on there and
do.
make sure you
We
get this
will.
interview up there, and people will be like, "That was the best, the most amazing interview." Everybody's talking about how good the interview was. Nobody else did an interview as good as Dakari. I love him. He's fantastic.
Best of luck to you. Thank you for
Thank you
coming
so
in. We
much for
appreciate
having me,
it.
Valerie and
Yeah,
Richard. I appreciate
absolutely.
it.
8 o'clock with Dixon Dividing, Talk 99.5, talk995.com. In about a half an hour, we'll be chatting with a Democratic candidate for governor, Chad Chig Martin. Do you really want the nickname Chig? Is that something
He
that
does.
people? Okay.
Obviously, he does.
That's- I mean,
People
it's like-
remember it.
That's like Richard Yellow Mountain Fever Tick Dixon. Like, I don't. That's not a positive.
We'll get
Why
the
is that
story. We're
good?
going to find
That
out
said,
the
can
story.
we get that to catch on?
Want some answers?